Had to throw on the jacket, had to get a little more casual for this episode of Movie Breakdowns, which I'm usually am casual. But I had to channel my inner Mark Zuckerberg, the Zuckerberg, channel my inner Zuckerberg, my inner Zucks for this episode, because this was a request from Patreon, from Luke. He wanted me to watch The Social Network from 2010, and on this episode of Movie Breakdowns, go ahead and break it down and review it. What's up, world? Welcome to another episode of Movie Breakdowns. I'm your host, Ali Zakka. And before I get started, is there a review you want me to do? Let me know. Please put in the comment section below and I get to as best I can. Also, Patreon/Ali Zakka for $2 a month. Get the clip in front of everybody, get your review out way before it goes on Facebook and YouTube. You also get other stuff on there like content such as trailer reaction, trailer reviews, and just other things I might try to throw on the Patreon to keep it fresh and friendly for you. Now, let's go ahead and get on to this episode of 2010, The Social Network. And what is this movie about? This movie is about the beginning of Facebook. It's about Mark Zuckerberg, a Harvard student who creates this social media site or this networking site that becomes Facebook. And while he's doing this, he also has to fight off a couple of lawsuits with the twins and with one of his friends that he started a business with. And the things I liked, I actually like the story of this. I like the story. I was invested into the story from beginning to end. I wanted to see how it grew, how it became Facebook, how the start of it. Now, this is a biography, in a sense, biographical drama. I know I completely slaughtered that word, but it's pretty much based off a true story, but not the actual story as is. Watch Mojo has like a top 10 video on what was real, what was fiction with the movie, and a bunch of other pieces out there on YouTube you can find about the realism from this movie and what was fake. But for the most part, how the main piece of the story was of the factual events that happened in this movie pretty much stayed true to some of the stuff I watched. And I was like, oh, that's crazy. That's wild. And I loved how the actors in this movie gave it 110%. I mean, Jesse Eisenberg, Justin Timberlake, and Andrew Garfield, three of them just hit it out the park in this movie. They did such a great job. Armie Hammer, who I thought was legit twins. I thought the Winklevosses were twins, and it's actually just what they realize they are. But in this movie, it's just one guy. It's Armie Hammer. It's just one guy. And there's a scene in the movie where he's like, there's two of me. Like, there's legit two of him because it was one guy playing two characters, and I love that. I love how this movie had little hints and stuff, and the twins, by the way, were my favorite part of this movie. They cracked me up anytime it was on screen, anytime they said something. The dynamic where one person would say something and the other twin finish their sentence. You know, a lot of TV shows and movies do that. I only seen it in two forms of media where I've been like, geeked out about it. And this movie was one of them. And WWE, the Usos, when they had their promos where they would finish each other's lines, but they would like bounce off each other, and as each one adds more intensity to what they're saying, the other one get more intensified, and they just bounce off each other. It was the same thing with the twins in this movie, how one person would say something, the other one comes on in, it's like, man, you got, like, Zuckerberg asks, like, huh, you guys are jacked. Like, Jack, yeah, I go to the gym? Like, of course we do. We're on the road team. And I just love it. Or one of the lines where this lady was at one of the president's hall at Harvard. They want to go speak to the president and tell, like, hey, Mark Zuckerberg stole our stuff. And the lady was like, this room is older in our country. Don't destroy into this room. And Army goes, I'm sitting in a chair. Like, just a little line delivery for some of the stuff in this movie I really love, and the dialogue and the actors and actresses going 110%. I feel like nobody's holding back punches. I feel like everybody did everything they did and gave 100% to everything they did in this movie. Matter of fact, there's a scene towards the end of the movie where you have Andrew Garfield going off on Mark Zuckerberg, or going off on Jesse Eisenberg in this movie, and he's going 110% in, and it's just so good. You feel the rage and emotion coming from Andrew Garfield when the other business partner gets pretty much pushed out of the company almost. Like, his stock goes from 34% down to 10% in real life. The movie made like 0.3% because they wanted to hit it a little harder. and want to be a little more, they're being more dicks to him. They're being a jerk to him. Granted, Andrew Garfield's character did freeze the bank account for Facebook at one point, so it was kind of like karma coming back around to hit him in the face. But Eduardo, I believe his name was, or Wardo was his name in the movie, and I think it's the actual character, the actual person's name too, who's no longer in America, by the way. I Googled him. He's down in China with another business. But anyway, that's neither here or there. The acting in this movie was great, and I did like a few things with the camera tricks. So David Fincher directed this movie, and he did a few things in this movie with camera tricks and camera angles. There'd be certain scenes where the cast or whoever's on focus is like in super focus while the background is blurred out, and then there's scenes where the background might be in focus but the character is blurred out. There's a club scene where Zuckerberg is talking to the creator of Napster, the co-founder of Napster, in the club, and the music, I had to actually turn down my TV because the volume was so loud, the background music, that you can barely hear what Zuckerberg and not Steven, I can't think of his name right now, I'll get to it later when I go through the cast, but Justin Timberlake's character, what they was talking about, and you couldn't barely hear them. You had to turn the volume up on the TV, or turn the volume down a little bit, put on captions to see what they were saying, because the fact that background music was so loud, and it was intentional. Like, their voices were getting drowned out by the club music. The club music was so loud, which is something that actually happens in real life. You go to a club with loud music, you can barely hear the person in front of you, so sometimes you're yelling. And this movie did that, brought that aspect of life into reality. But also there's a scene in the movie that I had to rewatch the scene twice because like something don't seem right. Mark Zuckerberg was giving Justin Timberlake and his girl a beer, and Timberlake grabs it, moves on. The girl like actually moves out the way and hits the wall, and then he throws it again, but he throws it like kind of at the camera, and I guess there's a corner of the wall there that you didn't pay attention, you would have missed it, and it bounces off, and like at first I watched it like it just shattered, and I was like, what is going on here? And then I looked at it again, I was like, oh, there's a corner of the wall that it hit. And I'm not sure what the point of the direction on that one, with the camera angle, was the point of that. Maybe it was just a funny nod or something. I don't know why David Fincher decided to put that there, but it was some few things with camera angles in the movie that kind of bothered me. That was like, I feel like that was unnecessary. But overall, I enjoyed this film. I had a good time with this film. I was invested into it. And I like the idea of some of the stuff from this. Like, this movie, the actual real life Zuckerberg started Facebook based off of a breakup. Now, the girl in the movie that he breaks up with, or she breaks up with him, is not a real character. That was fake for the movie. But he did create a blog site based off a girl breaking him up, and was a jerk to her and just pretty much berated her on his blog site, and then made the face smash, which is like a hot or not for women, or gets for the guys to pick on women who was hot or not, was really like a douchey thing. And then from there, it leads into the idea of Facebook. Now, in real life, he did settle with the twins who said it. Zuckerberg started an idea in the movie, and I guess that's how Zuckerberg got away with it, was that like he didn't use the coding or the stuff they used, but he used the thought process of it, and he just pretty much capitalized on something that they didn't do. And he wasn't staying within Harvard, he was growing worldwide. And it's just kind of like to show the growth of Facebook. I liked it. I like the drama of it. I like the ideal of it, and character growth in this movie. To me, it felt like Zuckerberg never really grew up. Like, he was the same guy from the whole movie from beginning to end, but you can see little traces where they're trying to make the character believe like he had a remorse about what he did with the girl, and how he's pretty much berated her, and she never accepted his friend's request. She never wanted to talk to him after that. She was like, I broke up with you, and you decided to spill everything all over the blog and do this and do that. And she called him an asshole, pardon my French, but called him an asshole at the beginning of the movie. She said, she's like, you think people are not going to talk to you? You think girls not going to talk to you because you're a nerd? She's like, no, it's not the fact. No, it's the fact that you're an asshole. And at the end of the movie with Rashida Jones' character, it comes back around where she said, Mark, you're not an asshole that you want people to believe you are. And he's ends the movie with seeing him send a friend request to the girl that broke up with him before he started Facebook, and he keeps trying to get her to accept his friend's request. Now we don't know what he's gonna try to say sorry, because he never actually said sorry to the way he was treating her at the beginning of the movie. He doesn't do that. So we don't know what happens. The movie just ends with him in court, or kind of like at the litigation table, sitting down with the lawyers, and kind of just him at the end of the day just sitting on Facebook and refresh to see if she accepted his friend's request. And I was like, it's a very interesting way to end the movie. Like, he became this world billionaire, this cultural phenomenon, but yet can't get over the girl that broke his heart in college. And it just tells us that kind of spurred everything for him to start Facebook and where he is today. Now, the real life Zuckerberg actually dated a girl, and I think it's his wife today, while he started Facebook. So the real life Zuckerberg actually did have a girlfriend through college while he started Facebook. I enjoyed this movie a lot. The fact that it made me go and look up stuff after the movie and after the details of it, see what was what and what happened. Is this really true? It's not. It kind of like Wolf of Wall Street. Like, I will put this movie up there when it comes to movie want to watch about business and watch about like drama and based on a true story that's business related. I will probably request somebody to watch this movie and Wolf of Wall Street, even though Wolf of Wall Street is super over the top and The Social Network is almost kind of like hitting it. There's a lot of scenes where girls are changing, or a lot of college, because it's college, so people were hooking up with everybody, something like that. So you have a lot of scenes like that where people are hooking up, or people get done hooking up, or people are doing this and that, and you'll get a bunch of scenes like that where you just see like, oh, another girl at a party, and the girl is doing this, girl on top of a table, or something like that. Like, college is this wild party everywhere you go, and this movie definitely portrayed that a lot in this movie. So, but I would say, with that thought process, I would say, like, you want to watch like kind of like an origin story of somebody, I think this would be one of those cool movies. You watch the origin story, but it never finishes because Facebook is still going, still as big as today. It's got a metaverse now, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. And Mark Zuckerberg just keeps getting richer and richer. But this college dropout who started Facebook is a very interesting story at the beginning of it. And while Wolf of Wall Street more about the rise and fall of Jordan Belfort, this is kind of like just the rise of Mark Zuckerberg. Another 20 years or 40 years from now, you might get an actual movie of the conclusion of Zuckerberg and see what happens from there. But I really did enjoy this movie. I had a fun time with this movie. The race scene with the Winklevoss brothers, Winklevoss, I believe their names are. I enjoyed that scene, and watching the movie on Ultra HD, I got to see a little more like focal point and how the movie like zoomed in on stuff and just looked cleaner and crisp. But that's the only option I had on YouTube to watch it. But I definitely enjoyed this movie. I'm trying to think of anything else I want to say before I get into the cast and director. And I don't think it is. I do like the fact that Justin Timberlake's character mentioned like, oh, a girl kind of kicked off everything for you. Like, it was a breakup that started Facebook. It was a breakup that started Napster. Or he wanted to get a girl, so he created Napster. It's almost like people would do things for a selfish reason for themselves, and it end up getting bigger where it comes out like for everybody else to enjoy. And I wonder what else in life was created based off the fact that somebody had an itch. They solved their own problem, and then they realized somebody else was like, oh, I like that idea. I want to be a part of this. Like, oh, okay, well, here you go. And, oh, I like this. And it keeps growing and growing and growing. I wonder what else in life is the same thing where, like, it was a selfish thing that became a thing where it's like, well, I guess I'll share it with everybody. All right. Let's go ahead and get into cast and directors here. All right, so The Social Network came out in 2010. It's PG-13. The budget of this movie was $40 million estimate, and it grossed worldwide $224 million. So it got his money back on top of that. The director is David Fincher, and the writers are Aaron Sorkin, who's screenplay, and then Ben Mesrit, who did the book The Accidental Billionaires. The cast, you have Jesse Eisenberg as Mark Zuckerberg. I thought he did a great job. He really made Mark Zuckerberg seem really kind of like, what's the word I'm looking for? Socially awkward, where he didn't know how to handle in social settings, but it's not really that. He was just more of like, he just thought like he made himself seem so arrogant, so high that he pretty much knew everything and how to talk to everybody, knew the way he could be, and he'll say things where like, yeah, I got a high SAT score, it's like know how to talk my way out of a paper bag, and this dude pretty much did that. Jesse Eisenberg brought Mark Zuckerberg to me. Though he did a good job bringing Mark character in this movie to the forefront and show like, yeah, I'm kind of snobby, kind of like, you know, I say what I want to say, do what I gotta do to get where I need to go. And it seems like Mark Zuckerberg was a jerk in this movie, and towards the end of the movie goes, you see that other people did things to him that also is like, well, who's the bad guy in this movie? There doesn't seem to be a real antagonist, or there's an antagonist, but there really seems like a real bad guy in this movie. And one thing I did like was like how this movie was kind of a flashback in a sense, where you thought you were watching the present, but in reality you're watching a flashback because Mark is being sued by Andrew Garfield character Eduardo. He's being sued by him, and they're going back and forth at the table in this movie, kind of reliving the events that got them to where they are now. Justin Timberlake, who plays Sean Parker, who was the co-founder of Napster, thought Justin Timberlake did a great job as well. He was really good in this movie. And Andrew Garfield was really good as well. Andrew Garfield and Justin Timberlake, phenomenal jobs from their parts. They really just good work across the board. Andrew Garfield showing up in like just drenched in water and rain and kind of in tears. Thought he did a great job. And Justin Timberlake being the party guy who's like, oh, I just gotta do this, this, and this. Great job from him. Armie Hammer, who played the Winklevoss brothers. Great job. I thought he did a great job. Like the fact that he like played off was the same character and played off both of his Cameron and Tyler, and the fact that he pretty much is like just spot on with the delivery for each line, and the fact that editing in the movie with this making the movie with that the editing where it made it look like it flowed. I did not know it was the same person. I thought it was legit twins. In reality, it was the same person playing twins. The editing and his stuff in this movie was good work. Brenda Songs, who plays Christy, I legit popped for Brenda. When I saw her, I was like, oh my gosh, Brenda Songs in this movie. So she's like Zack and Cody. She's in this. And great work from her. Really great. Just solid. Like, good job. And then Rashida Jones, who played Merlin. Good for her. Good work. And then the girl, Rooney Mara, who played Erica. Thought she did a great job as well. Like, I think the casting was great. Really great. All across the board. Any last thoughts? Not really. Like, the music in this movie doesn't really stand out. The music is okay, suitable for a drama flick. It doesn't really stand out as much. Like I said, the editing with the Armie Hammer's character was really good, and some of the focal lens in the movie, like the focal scene where they did a focal on certain characters and the background's blurred out. Some of that I didn't really like here and there. But it was fine. The acting is phenomenal over the top. Grading time. Oh, sorry. This is a Friday night movie. Yes, this is a Friday night movie. Watch with friends and family. I think everybody will enjoy this movie and grading time. I'm going to grade The Social Network from 2010. I'm going to give this movie an A-. Like, at first I was really leaning on a B+, like an 89%. But no, this movie going to get a 90% from me. And here's the reason why. The editing with Armie Hammer's character playing two different characters and bouncing off each other was really good. The acting is super phenomenal. This movie, really great acting. Like everybody goes 110%. Now there's some choices I didn't like with directing, like the club scene where the music's super loud where you can barely hear what Sean and Mark Zuckerberg are saying, or like how some of the scenes where the characters are super focused on one character and the background's blurred and it swap back and forth. There's a few scenes in this movie where like I was like, I don't like the way the camera angles and the editing for this scene was worked, but other scenes was great. The music, it's okay. Like it doesn't really stand out, but the acting in this movie is super over top. And I got some of the jokes in this movie. This movie has some jokes in here and there. I got it, but the story was compelling. It kept me involved. I give this movie an A-, a 90%. IMDb give this movie a 7.8 out of 10, which is a C+, and then Rotten Tomatoes give this movie the critics gives the movie a 96%, which is an A, and the audience score gives us an 87%, which is a B+. I was on the verge of giving it a B+, but I decided to give it one more point and give it an A-. So this movie gets an A- for me. I truly enjoyed The Social Network. If you've seen The Social Network, what did you think? Please put in the comment section below. Other than that, see you guys next episode of Movie Breakdowns, and keep being awesome. Thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. I really appreciate that. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. If there's a review you want me to watch or do, let me know. Please put it in the comment section below this video. Also, you want to watch the last episode of Movie Breakdowns, it's right there. Just gotta click on it and you'll be able to watch it. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Love y'all, and keep being awesome.